What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to be discussing my 6-month review of what I'm shooting on right now, the Sony FX30. So don't go nowhere. Alright guys, welcome back. My name is Lee Fry. If you guys are new to my channel, I would love it if you guys hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey. So like I said earlier, we'll be talking about my 6-month review of the Sony FX30. And short, sweet, I have loved this camera. This camera is a little beast. This thing, there's not anything video wise that this camera cannot do. It can do pretty much anything that you throw at it. If you have this camera and you can't create good content with it, it's not the camera's fault. There's not much this camera can't do. 4K up to 120 frames per second. Granted, it has a crop. I don't really use the 120 that much. But you get 4K up to 60 frames per second, full sensor readout, downscaled from 6K image, so it's very sharp, very just amazing looking. I love the image coming out of this thing. Now some people balk like, oh, it's not full frame, blah blah. I could fucking care less. That's not full frame. It's still an amazing camera, even for an APS-C sensor. It does surprisingly well in low light. It's dual base ISO of 800 and 2500. I wish the second base was a little bit higher, maybe like 3200 or so. You know, that would have been kind of nice, but it is what it is. Still dual base native ISO. You have DCI 4K. You can record externally. Things like 4.7K RAW onto a external recorder. I think there is a slight crop to that as well, but again, if you want to be able to shoot RAW and you have an Atomos Ninja V, you can definitely shoot that with this camera. Shoots 422 10-bit pretty much in all codecs. You have all I, dual SD card slots. It's going to be getting shutter angle. I think in September is supposed to be the update. I don't remember, but that's going to be awesome. That's something I believe pretty much every camera that shoots video should have. You should have that option. So the fact that we're finally getting it on some Sony cameras that aren't their main cinema line cameras is awesome. So I can't wait for that update. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of negative I can say about this camera. So as far as negatives, I guess that I could say, you know, the 4K 120 is kind of disappointing. You know, I have used it a little bit. I have gotten around it, and it does, you know, work pretty well in certain situations, but you know, you do get that massive crop, so it's not quite as sharp as 4K 60, 30, or 24. You're gonna get a lot of noise in it. You have to really be mindful of the exposure with the 4K 120. If you miss the exposure by a little bit, I've noticed it comes out very noisy, so it's definitely something you have to be mindful of. If you're in some low light situations and you're trying to use the 4K 120 on this thing, it's probably not going to come out the best. Another negative, the 1080p 120, I wish they gave you a 10-bit option with that. With that, you only get the 420 8-bit, which kind of sucks. Battery life is okay. I've noticed when I do shoot in 4K, which is primarily what I shoot in, that battery life, it's pretty good, but I do notice that it kind of drains pretty quickly. It doesn't last as long as I would like, so I guess that could be, that's a little negative as well. No overheating issues. I've had this thing overheat on me once. Even with the fan on, I had it overheat on me once. I was outside during one of our shoots, middle of the day, around 1 o'clock. I think it was about 107, 108, or it was pretty freaking hot. And you know, we had been outside for probably pretty close to an hour, and I've been shooting, you know, pretty consistently, and it finally just kind of overheated on me. But that was the only time this thing's ever overheated on me. But overall, I wouldn't consider that too much of a concern. Photo wise, not really going over too much of the photos, but you get 26 megapixel stills out of this thing. You only get single shot, you don't get bursts, but again, that's not a huge deal to me. There's no mechanical shutter, it's just the electronic shutter. Again, those aren't deal breakers for me. I'm not using this mainly for photography. I do use it and I do get really nice shots out of it, but if photography is your thing, I probably wouldn't even consider this camera. I'd probably look more towards the A6700, because you're getting the same sensor, basically all the same specs, but it's going to be a better photo camera than this camera, so something to consider. But overall, I've been very happy with this camera. Again, like I said, I don't give a damn that it's not full frame. That I think full frame it's great, it's nice, it's really good, but I feel like it has been blown way too out of proportion. Like, you have to have a full frame to be professional. You don't. That's bullshit. If anyone ever tells you that, just tell them straight out that's bullshit. So yeah, that's all I can really say on that. I mean, I'm very happy with this camera. I have no desires of going anywhere else with this camera. It's definitely something that should last anybody that gets it for a very long time, and in my opinion, it's one of the best, if not the best, bang for your buck video camera you can get for under 2K. Some people might argue the S5 Mark II, and that probably would be a pretty good option too, but I've never used it, so I can't really give you an objective opinion on that. I've used the S5 Mark I, and that was good, but I would choose this over that. So again, I can't really tell you between the S5 Mark II and this what's the better option. I can't really do that for you, but there probably are a million other reviews comparing that, and you can make your decision that way. But again, in my opinion, this is one of the best, if not the best, options you can get for a video camera under 2K. So anyways, guys, 6-month review done. I love this camera. It's not going anywhere. If you're on the fence, I definitely recommend getting it, because I think you will be so excited and so happy with the results you get out of this camera. Anyways, guys, we'll see you guys next time and make a video.